So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD. Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about World War II Zombies and looking at brand new, never before seen in-game footage. This is taken from the World War II Comic-Con reveal panel where they had various sort of slides from a big presentation where there's brand new footage from areas of the map never seen before, as well as areas we have seen but from brand new angles, which gives us a load of new bits of information and some confirmations on other things. Now, if at any point you have any ideas on some of the things that I might not have ideas about, feel free to drop them down below in the comment section. But if you enjoy this video, make sure to drop it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe as well, so you're always updated whenever I upload videos about World War II Zombies. Now, starting off with our first brand new in-game bit of footage, we have this on screen. Now, in the Comic-Con panel, there is a lot of times where there is no frames of this, where there isn't any text appearing on screen. So this is the closest I could get to it being the cleanest without there being anything on it, without it being from a fade to black essentially. And we have this development leads frame here, and you can see this is taking place in a room which we do see in the trailer, but we've never gotten an up close shot of this machine here on the right. Now we get a few frames of footage before it gets blocked off with loads of various texts and pictures, but as you can see from this machine, it has this sort of compartment where it's small enough for you to be able to put your hands in as if you were supposed to take something out, and in the background of it you can clearly see there's some sort of glass chamber behind it, which is full of what looks like to me blood and possibly zombies' guts just floating around. So it could possibly be getting parts around the map, maybe specific body parts from various zombie types, and grinding them up and mixing them together to maybe make some sort of mixture, or maybe we're taking out this liquid and body parts instead of putting stuff in. This could potentially also be the way they'll do perk machines, but we really can't tell. There's been the idea floating around of you injecting stuff into yourself in order to sort of enhance your abilities, which sounds amazing, but who knows if we're going to go down that route. And on the left we also see a wall buy, but we see a much more clearer one in the next coming shots. Now the next new thing is what I believe to be from the same room but from a completely different part of the room. This is more in the corner. We see this during the reveal trailer as well. We see someone being hacked to death in the background in one of these windows, and we see a zombie sort of stumbling from left to right that looked really gorish. Perhaps that could be what we see here, this body that's lying on this sort of little bed here. This could potentially be that zombie that we do see just sort of in sort of a sleeping trance. We don't really know. Now the next shot is of this room with the cage in the middle, but from a completely different angle where it's super up close to the cage. We can see a lot more detailing of that cage. We can see what appears to be sort of like cloth that's rotting with blood kind of drowned in them. We've got spikes all around this cage. I feel like the boss that we see right at the very end could house itself within this cage, but it seems like almost like the cage is sort of meshed into the ground. I've thought like maybe it could be lowered throughout the different levels of the map, but to me it seems like it's not a very like large cage in terms of the space. It looks like it's fully cemented into the ground because you can see the blood pools there. We can see some lights in the background which could indicate to a trap or possibly just the lighting of the room. But this next shot is really exciting, and we see this of course in one of the shots from the reveal trailer of this projector projecting this light onto the zombie that's chained and pinned to the wall. But you can see a quite clear detail now, which we obviously got confirmation of, but we don't know exactly how it worked. But you can see there, bam, our first ever wall buy, which we can see really clearly is the STG-44, and as you can see it seemed to be chained up and in sort of a glass cover. So this could work really cool to how it would be in real life, where if you saw a weapon but it was sort of like housed in a glass casing, you'd have to of course smash the glass in order to get a hold of that weapon. So with the new point system, which is apparently by killing zombies you get energy, perhaps having a certain amount of energy would force you to be able to break down the chains. Then you could smash the glass and you could pick up the gun. It's quite clear when you see that, and then you look back at the first bit I showed you with the room and the weird sort of machine in the background, you can clearly see another wall by there. But as you can see, they're not chalk drawings, they're sort of illuminated boxes with what we could appear to either be glass covers or simply just sort of chains around. They'd have to sort of cut off or use your energy to destroy, and then you can get the weapon off the wall, which is pretty cool. And this of course lets us see some more detail detailing in the room which we couldn't see before. So we've got some imagery that we got within Marie's journal there on the left, just lots of destruction really. And in this next frame we see what looks to be the gates opening towards part of the map, and we saw some teasers from the sort of viral marketing before which showed this, but this is awesome because this is a completely different perspective. Now, before the reveal happened, there was a live stream from both Call of Duty and PlayStation where they had just cryptic footage from Mittelberg that was just always playing, and it quickly snapped towards some other bits, and we see those other bits here in this reveal as well in full color. This was one of them, and as you can see on the right we can see another wall buy here. Now it's hard to make out, but I can see what I believe to be the top half of a double barrel shotgun, so that's awesome. So we've got confirmed wall buys now, STG-44 and the double barrel shotgun. We also have some signs which shows us some other possible playable areas. Of course, with a big zombie map they try and sort of guide you to different areas, and we see this sign here which says Flosser, which is German for riverbank, so that's pretty awesome. There's going to be a river nearby. And the other sign says Hauptplatz, which means main square, so that could possibly be the first frames that we see in the reveal trailer when it's panning down. That could be what they consider the main square, and maybe we've not seen it yet, we don't know. As you can see as well, as we know in the story, they go to this area during the winter season and it's snowing, so this map has a snowy atmosphere when you're above ground. I don't think the trailers quite showed it off that well, so it's interesting now that we have that dynamic weather with it snowing, and it looked good on the Giant, so it's probably going to look even better on here. Now this next shot is pretty interesting, and this is again something that they teased on the stream just before the reveal went live, and this, what I believe to be, is one of the rooms where they keep some of the stolen artwork, as this is a portrait of a young man, Raphael, and it's one of the most famous portraits stolen by the Nazis during World War II, which in real life has never been found. And in the zombie teasers back in April, you saw an image of this painting along with a image of Frederick Barbarossa, so this is pretty awesome, and I'm hoping this will have some sort of Easter egg hints, or perhaps will be involved in the Easter egg somehow. Maybe it's got some sort of importance besides it just being a sort of very valued painting. And this next shot is something which was on the PlayStation stream for pretty much the entire time, and this is a really nice shot. As you can see, what looks to be on the left is possibly the riverbank, or just possibly just other parts of land which we can't see, and it looks pretty damn high up. We can tell this is at night, we know this, we can see the moon in full force, which looks beautiful, and we have a lot of really eerie sort of houses and buildings around this map. It's a very sort of varied atmosphere. There's just lots of different environments, and this looks like a pretty secluded area. There's not really much besides this sort of like corner of the map, I guess you could say. When this was shown on the live stream, again, like I mentioned before, all these clips were shown in black and white and then flickered to something else for a few seconds, and this changed to a sort of, I guess you could assume to be one of the areas where the Doctor would experiment, because we can see some diagrams on the walls there before it switches back. Now this one is definitely the hardest to make out because there's never a clear part where there isn't something appearing on screen, but the main focus is what's on the ground. We can see what looks to be handcuffs, and not just one set. It's like it's got handcuffs for each arm and each leg, and this could possibly be where the main boss zombie could live. We know there's a shot where there is what looks to be some sort of dog bowls, like as if they're feeding the zombies and keeping them sort of in check and being able to control them that way, but it also looks like this is how they keep some of the more bigger zombies down, and this is clearly a closed off section because there's a light and a massive door which is kept shut, and it just generally looks really gruesome and very gritty. Now this next bit's really cool, and we can get a good screenshot, but it's really the video you want to see, which unfortunately gets blocked off a little bit by the images and graphics, but this is another viewpoint from this operating room, and you can kind of see this from a different perspective. Normally in the trailer you see the front shot where you can see a shadowy figure sort of slamming down onto a zombie, but from this angle it's a different room and you can see the backside, so this is a behind shot where you can quite clearly tell is possibly Dr. Straub himself experimenting with a zombie here, and you can also get a little bit more detail of the sort of different equipment, and just the lighting and mood is creepy as all hell. Now this next new in-game shot is possibly my favourite favourite from all of this, and it's very subtle, as you may not realise it at first, but this is truly creepy stuff. So we get a new shot of the door, at least one of the entrances to get into the labs, that this was an old salt mine before, and we see it in the trailer, and it looks pretty similar again to what we see. This is this crazy mechanical door, but it's to the right that we're most interested of, and honestly, if you can't work it out, maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but these look like characters, like toy dolls that are hanging and making shadows in this little section here. What this could possibly be is relating to Klaus and Marie Fischer's dad, who was a toy maker, and this could indicate that we might have a toy shop within this map as well, as you can quite clearly see what looks to be some sort of plastic toys. It's sort of posed in different ways, sort of hanging, sitting there on shelves, just looking ridiculously creepy. Now, this is really blurry, but honestly, I'm pretty sure that is definitely a toy shop. And we know from the story about Klaus and Marie's dad being a toy maker, Sledgehammer have said that perhaps there's some traps or toys that you can use in your aid against the fight. So we could possibly enter this toy shop and find some awesome things, perhaps maybe parts to build stuff, who knows. There's also some mysterious like box in the lower parts of that shelf, like as if that could be a mystery box. I mean, we do get indications on what it could be during the reveal trailer, and it doesn't quite look like it, so I don't know. But if you also notice in the bottom part of the wall where it's kind of greyish, there seems to be a little sort of compartment. I don't know what that could be. I don't know if that's just decoration or if that could be part of something, who knows. And our final new bit of in-game footage is when it shows the logo and the world reveal and it's basically ending. We see a shot from the reveal trailer where it pans across what looks like a drain on the ground, but we don't see any more of that room. What we can see is it's quite an open room. Now, unfortunately, the text is so big and the background's a bit blurred that you can't really make out too much, but it seems to be quite a big room, possibly some sort of machine towards the back. We really don't know. That's all we have from this video. That's all the new in-game footage that we've gotten so far. There's a lot of sort of very short snippets which they used for background shots, and hopefully this isn't the last. There might be some other presentations down the line where we might get to see more, and hopefully we get more trailers and more info soon, because I'm just itching to know more about World War II Zombies. If there's any new interviews, any more bits of info that we get from the developers, I'll be sure to bring it to you guys in a video, so make sure you subscribe. But if you enjoy the video, make sure to drop it a thumbs up, make sure that you leave all your thoughts below, and make sure to check all these videos in case you missed them earlier in the week on screen now, and I'll catch you next time.